A very good evening, everyone, and happy Teachers' Day. I'm Srisha, and welcome to the seventh episode of SSVM EduTalk. So, SSVM EduTalk was initiated to have fascinating conversations with insightful speakers on various current topics. And we at SSVM family are very grateful to our teachers, students, and the parents who have supported us and who has shown continuous support right from the establishment of SSVM from 1998. So today, being September 5th, this is a very special date every year since then, and Teachers' Day is a very important occasion for all of us to show our deepest gratitude for having gurus in our life. They are the bridge between the unknown infinite and the known finite. So, facilitating the transmission from knowledge and skills in us. So, happy Teachers' Day to all the teachers across the globe who are phenomenally leading the education out in 2020. So I would like to thank all of you for joining us in this conversation today. Our topic for today is Guru-Shishya bond in the 21st century. And we have a very special person with us, and it is Brahma Kumari Kothai Sister. Om Shanti Sister.
Om Shanti to all of you.
So welcome to EduTalk, Kothai Sister, and it is an absolute honor to have you here today for Teachers' Day. Sister, with your achievements and accomplishments, it is indeed a special Teachers' Day for all of us, I must say, in the field of education.
Thank you so much for this generous dose of pleasantries as my introduction. Thank you so much. And it's my great pleasure and honor to join this group on Teachers' Day. It's a very sacred day, and I'm meeting sacred people for a sacred purpose, and that's what makes it all the more interesting.
Definitely, we're blessed to have you here with us today, and we're very excited to hear various insightful thoughts that you have to share with us as well. And so, to begin with the first question.
Yes.
Mr. Kothai, mutual respect and trust are at the foundation of any lasting relationship. And so through history, I think we all have an idea of how a Guru-Shishya bond was like back then. So that student-teacher relationship has evolved a lot in this century, and we would like to hear how a teacher and a student bond has changed from that period of time, and do you feel that it has progressed, or has it has happened otherwise?
Well, you started off on a very good note, Srisha. I appreciate you for your presence of mind to touch on this very important aspect. Going back the years, earlier the bond between a teacher and the student was mostly Guru-Shishya. It was a Gurukul way of getting educated. And that was like going into a mother's womb again. See, the baby in the mother's womb, everything is provided for it by the mother. It just has to absorb the nourishment. But we've come a long way from that time. You could take the world, you could take business, you could take family life, you could take society. Everything has changed exponentially. So with all those things changing, this parameter also has changed. Earlier, it used to be the Guru and the Guru Patni who would have the ashram or the Gurukul, and those who wished to learn and equip themselves, they would come and join the Gurukul as Srisha. So, the primary requisite is humility and respect for the Guru, and that would be nurtured by not just imparting education, they would be taught to do even the ordinary chores of the Gurukul. Today, I wonder if the students would like it if they were made to do such ordinary chores. Even at home, nobody makes us do all those things. Even in school, certain things we don't do. We need janitors to clean. We need drivers to drive. We need cooks to cook. So I feel this lockdown is a very, very what to say, it's a blessing in disguise, wherein children can learn the importance of these small chores also. In the Gurukul, besides learning education, they would learn how to fetch a pot of water for the Guru, they would learn how to chop vegetables, they would learn how to actually be independent at home. Today, to be independent is order food on Zomato. How many of our children are taught how to cook? I feel it's very important that children should be taught how to cook, how to do farming. These are things that also need to come into the curriculum, isn't it? But the competitiveness of today's life and society, even if the institution were ready to teach cooking and farming, I really wonder how many parents or how many students would think of it as something very important and essential. That outlook needs to change. And two, we all need to know when we respect something, that is when we are blessed. We don't just learn, but we are blessed. Learning, anybody can learn, but those who are blessed, the learning will help them in their lives. So, to take blessings, that humility must be there. And very beautifully you said it should be mutual trust and respect. For a student, it's easy to respect because the teachers are older. How will the teacher respect the student? That needs to be thought about. How will a mother or a father respect the child? In a lot of families, I have two little instances to share with you. Most of the time, the parents are also not to be blamed. Their lives are also so hectic with so many burdens. So when they come home, that child, they assume the school has taken care of the child totally. So even if the child doesn't know how to work a particular problem, or if it doesn't understand it, a lot of parents might think it's easier to just work it out for the child and say, this is how it is, take it. Now the right way to do it is to make them sit, to help them understand the problem and make them solve the problem themselves. Now that will be a learning for a lifetime. But today's lifestyle was not allowing the parents to give this much time to their children either. So the result, everybody wants fast food, fast fixes for any problem. Am I thinking and am I actually allowing my own impulses and responses to solve the problem? There should be in the curriculum problem solving, crisis management. I've heard of people who were toppers all along in their lives. And especially this particular student went to America, and even in the university education there, he was a topper. And then when there was a crisis and he lost his job, he had his savings, but he didn't have that inbuilt mechanism to face. He committed suicide. You know, such things we are seeing on the rise today. So it is not just being smart or earning degrees or being employed. A very important aspect of the curriculum should be problem solving, rising up to the occasion, facing the occasion. And I was talking about mutual respect. The child will respect the teacher and the parents because they are older. How do the teachers and the parents respect the child? Just one thing. In our hearts, we must accept the fact that child has its own opinion and feeling, and those feelings and opinions matter. That parent and that teacher who feels my student's opinion matters, my student's feelings matter, it will be automatic, Srisha. When the teacher or that parent gives an advice to the student, they will implicitly obey. It is vibrations reaching out. When I feel your feelings matter and then speak to you, it will be automatic, you will accept what I'm telling you. So the one who wants the other one to listen, they should respect the other one's feeling. So that's how you build a relationship of trust and mutual respect.
That's wonderful, sister. Thank you so much for sharing it very beautifully. I think everybody, like, we're all human beings, and whoever it is we're speaking to or we're listening to, I think it is best that we always give that mutual respect, and that way our relationship lasts beautifully. So where you said that very beautifully, thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
And moving on to our next question, sister, you were a state ranker in your school and college, and a multifaceted student as well. I think you were a basketball player, and also right now you have you've accomplished so many things in your career, and being a leader for an industry, and you've won various awards, women entrepreneurial awards, and apart from that, you are a Raja Yoga meditation guru as well. So, was that teacher or guru who gave you that right kind of support in your school days? And if so, how did your teacher help you in your journey? Could you share that?
Sure. I should accept with gratitude right now that every single teacher I had from kindergarten up to my college days, exceptional. I can remember them by name, but their faces just flash on the screen of my mind. It's only decades since I completed my education, but they were such good human beings. They didn't go out of their way to come and talk to me or see if I'm well. No. But what they did, their love for me and that feeling that they cared for me just came out through the way they carried themselves. But there are a few teachers who are remarkable. You wouldn't have seen them. I don't know if we can see them again. There was one master who used to come home to tutor me in mathematics. He was a retired teacher, and he used to finish his chores and then would go and buy vegetables for his home. And then on his way back home, he would come to our house to tutor me in maths. So he was very old. I think he was about 65 plus at that time. I remember so well that I was in my 12th grade, 11th or 12th, and he was teaching me analytical geometry. So every day he used to come home with a bag of vegetables because he was carrying it back to his house. That day for analytical geometry, he took out potatoes from his purchase of vegetables. I was like, what is he going to do? Potatoes for analytical geometry? Then he said, I want your people to bring a knife and seemat kuchi. You know those kuchi seemat, the brooms which, those sticks. So I sent the servant to bring that seemar kuchi and a knife. So immediately he cut the potatoes into cubes like this, and he made each cube of the potato a corner of a parallelogram. And then he stuck the Seema Kuchi. And then he made a parallelogram and he taught me the formula to calculate the volume of a parallelogram by making me see it in front of me. Today we have a lot of these tools virtually over the internet, but those were the days when we didn't have all that. And teachers would just probably draw a parallelogram and give the formula and say, you learn this and you do it, apply it. Whenever a parallelogram question comes, you apply this formula. But this teacher took all the pains to take potatoes that he had bought for his home and created a parallelogram and made me imagine it and then taught me the formula. And the same teacher, just before my exams were about to begin, he used to go for 12 standard corrections, examination corrections. He saved about 10 papers. He told me it's not legitimate, but I told my higher up and I saved these papers. So there's 10 papers, the best of his career he saved up. Okay, those who got 200 out of 200. And he showed me and he said, you just learning mathematics or any other subject is not important. I want you to see her presentation. See how she's left margins on all four sides. We were taught to draw margins only on the left side. We would write until the end of the right side. We would write until the bottom of the page. He said, never do it because they're all bundled together. Most of the time, the edges will get rolled and the teacher will not have the patience to unroll and read. So you should try your best to make it easy for the person who's correcting the paper. So he gave me such tips and I did get 200 out of 200 in maths as well as in commerce. And I think it's because of those steps too. It's not just what we learn, it's also these small things that matter. So that way, every teacher I had was really out of the world. Then I had one geography teacher. Normally people won't like geography. She made it so interesting for us. She would teach us how to remember stuff in geography. Most of the time you had to remember which are the places that grow rice, which are the places that grow this and that. There would be a long list of countries. She said, take the first alphabet of each country and coin a name. So you can remember one name instead of 10 names. And then just, so when they gave us hints, how we can learn easily, how you could memorize easily, that was very helpful. Then we had one math teacher. Usually maths is very difficult for students and nobody liked going to math class, but she would come, she knew all of us were like this, she would begin her math class with a small story. So we would look forward to her classes, if not for maths, at least for the little story she gave. So such teachers would kindle our interest and make us want to learn. But I should also admit, we were in a different generation where things were not so competitive. Both parents as well as the society was not so demanding on us, so it was easier, I guess. So these were the teachers who have left a lasting impression. Today being Teachers' Day, I did think of all my teachers with gratitude. They are the best.
That's great. Thanks for sharing those nostalgic moments, sister. And I think even...
I'm inspired to share another thing about one more teacher, my biology teacher, very sweet lady. I used to be good with my diagrams for the record, very nice, but my spellings were a little weak. 6th or 7th grade I was. So the spellings used to be little not too good. So sweetly, even to this day I can remember it. She called me to her table alone, not in front of the class. They were all doing something. She called me and then put her hand on my shoulder and said, girl, do you do French as your second language? I said, no ma'am, I do Tamil. Then slowly she said, but why are your spellings so awful? English spellings that look like French. So even if they gave me corrections, they would put their hand on me and, with love say it. So even today I can think of it and laugh it out, not really feel bad. I can say in all my school days and colleges, nobody really made me feel bad or ashamed. So all those things matter.
That's very true. I think very passionate teachers like the ones you mentioned, and for existing in the world today as well. Uh, they all just do such wonderful job, in grooming the children, as they spend the most of the time. I think with the children more than even parents could. Um, Although parents do have to have their share in grooming the children the right way, but the teachers are definitely spending a lot of time with the children, and when they give this right kind of boost and the mindset, instilling that mindset in the children, we're definitely going to have wonderful citizens for tomorrow as well. So it's great that you shared your nostalgic moments from the school, and we really enjoyed listening to them, sister. And you are a guru to so many, igniting minds through Raja Yoga meditation sessions. And I've also been, part of them, and I've always been, mesmerized listening to your voice and how you conduct the meditation sessions. I've always enjoyed them. So you are also an incredible entrepreneur with such an impeccable reputation. So we're very curious to understand your transformation from a family of entrepreneurs into a spiritual guru. How do you balance both visions seamlessly?
Um, Actually, there are no two sides for me. Huh. Uh, the pivot is God in my life. And like in our home, we have a kitchen, we have drawing hall, we have a balcony, we have our TV room, but it's our home, isn't it? What you do in the kitchen is different from what you do in the drawing hall, from what you do in your home theater, but it is your home. Likewise, the pivot of my life, not just now, even from my childhood, was God. And luckily for me, I came into the fold of the Brahma Kumaris, wherein I could relate to this God and have a working relationship with Him. So even today, not just me, none of us at the Brahma Kumaris consider ourselves to be gurus. Because for us, only God is that guru. We are instruments in His hands in sharing the knowledge that He gave us. So, when I am sharing the knowledge, I am a teacher as well as a student because I'm learning along the way, so that humility is there. So, when I come to this room of the house wherein I do business, it's not I'm the owner or entrepreneur. I never think of myself as the entrepreneur. Uh, God is the owner and the boss, and I'm a trustee, his representative doing this work. And when I go home, it's not my mother or my father that I relate to, they are God's children, and God has put them under my care. As a caretaker, what I need to do to them, I do to them. So, like a mother plays the role of a mother, a wife, a sister, a friend, but the pivot is, she's a woman, like that. The pivot is God, and all these things are different facets. So, I do not have two sides, and life is just beautiful because Raj Yoga is the art of balancing this life. We don't go overboard in any one aspect of life.
That's awesome, sister. Thank you so much for giving us that perspective. I think we should all start looking at our lives that way, instead of thinking of us as leaders or owning certain things. We can rather think that God is the owner for everything, and we are actually His messengers, or responsible to carry His tasks
Yes.
to this world and to the people and serve them. So that's just wonderful
Thank you.
to view the world that way. So thank you for sharing that, sister. And moving on to our next question. There are wonderful teachers who are very passionate, like those you mentioned, as well as who are here. And their passion is beautifully reflected in their students, right? So teachers who are empowered to lead are more likely to commit long term and positively influence others. So, sister, how do you think that as an educator yourself, we can empower teachers to drive the learning process more effectively for the students?
Very important question, Srisha. I'm so happy that you brought a pertinent question like this. Everything should begin from within. The seed has to be there in the teacher. Now, um, I give you an example, so then the teachers and you and parents, everybody just associate that to their own lives. There was this Mahatma walking along a village, and in that village, it was quite a hot sunny day, and they were building a temple out in the open. And a lot of sculptors were actually sculpting on those pillars, the rocks. And this person goes to the first sculptor and he says, "What are you doing?" It was scorching hot, and then the sculptor takes a dirty look at this Mahatma and says, "Can't you see what I'm doing? In this hot sun, I'm sweating blood trying to earn a few pennies to pay for my family. And you come and stand here and ask, what am I doing?" Scoot. And he moved on. The Mahatma moved on without any reaction. Then he went to another sculptor who was also doing the same job, also under the sun, scorching heat. And he said, "What are you doing?" And the sculptor said, "I'm so fortunate. God gave us this beautiful world to live in, and I got the opportunity to create a temple for God to live in. How fortunate. I'm enjoying my work, every bit of it." Both the sculptors got the same salary. Both the sculptors lived in the same place, and both of them were working in the same kind of atmosphere. But tell me, who was actually leading a better life?
The
The
second.
one, exactly, the one who was enjoying what he did. So, if a teacher is passionate about what they're doing, if they love what they're doing, then automatically the best, and the best only will come out. If I'm a teacher and if I think I'm doing it to work for my family, to care for my expenses, so much on my head, then it becomes a burden. Then, however much I want to be good, I cannot. Because those burdens are actually too much for me to carry. Like, for example, suppose you're giving me a pen to carry, Srisha. Leave me. You're giving another woman a pen to carry. Will it be a difficult task for her?
No. But
Think and answer.
if she thinks it's a burden, it will definitely be a difficult task.
If she's got nothing for her to carry and she just needs to take this pen from you, she'll be happy you're giving her a pen. But if she had a log of firewood on her head, two children in both her arms, and you're giving her a pen, she would like, "What the hell? Did I ask you for that pen? Take it and move." No? So
Right.
it depends on the weight that they have. So unfortunately in today's world, not just teachers, not just parents, not just students, not just the management, everybody has a lot on their minds. The burdens are a lot. So this makes it even more important for them to learn meditation and the art of making oneself light and really enjoying this life. This world and this life are for us to enjoy, not to really be burdened. It's an art that we can learn. So once they want to really enjoy the profession, once they want to be benefited by the profession internally, external benefits, that's different, internally, then they will be passionate teachers.
Wonderful. I think this is one really great lesson that we've all learned today, and all the teachers who are present here, even the parents and the students. I think it's a great message that you've shared with us, sister. Thank you for that. And moving on to our next question. In deep appreciation for our dear teachers here, and on behalf of our students. Our teachers are leading in crisis and reimagining the future. So our teachers need all the support they can, as they have tremendously adapted themselves to change in this crisis situation, and simultaneously been managing their family responsibilities. So we would like to hear your thoughts on, how our teachers across the nation, your tribute for them. Yeah.
In my view, Mata Pita Guru Devam, they say. So the Guru comes even before Devam, they say. Likewise, for a student, the role of the teacher is very, very important. And for the teacher, their own children, they would see them only for few hours at home. Maybe 1 or 2 hours in the morning, and then 1 or 2 hours in the evening, and then they're sleeping. But most of their lives, they are in school, they are with our children. So they are actually mothers. More than teachers, they are the real parents for the students. And if the teacher has it in their hearts that this child God has put under my care, then that child is fortunate. Because for a child, most of its emotional needs also at home, only 2 or 3 waking hours are with the parents. So the emotional needs are also with the teacher. That's why we see children crying and sobbing after the 12 years or 14 years in school. They don't want to leave that school. It's like the mother bears the child for 9 months and the teacher bears the child for 14 years in that womb called the school. So you are actually surrogate mothers, you are actually creators. We also create products in the mills, but they are lifeless products that are sold for money. But here you create living products, products that will actually change the destiny of the whole nation. So because God thought you were equipped to do it, He made you teachers. Because God thought He needed to be reflected in someone to those children of His, He had teachers in society. So that's how important the role of a teacher is in society. Uh, I'm 46 now, and 20 years, 30 years ago, the teachers in my life faded away, but not in my heart. Even to this day, every teacher who taught me, they're very special in my heart, and I'm sure every student has it in them. The school that nourished them, the teachers that they taught them, they can never forget you for a lifetime. So every time you enter class, I'm sure you also understand that you're actually creating your memory in that child's heart for a lifetime. Such important pillars of society, respectable professionalists, the teachers are. And it's my gratitude that I got an opportunity to express my respect for the teaching community and for people who have created institutions wherein the teachers and the students can come, interact, and allow this growth. Thank you for this opportunity.
Definitely. Thank you, sister. And yeah, it was wonderful how you shared that. And so the Guru-Shishya relationship is the most noble of all, like you mentioned as well. So the Guru is a teacher who has knowledge and teaches it to others and practices the teaching himself or herself. So the disciple who is the recipient of the teaching, be it of the worldly type or of the spiritual type, should learn with humility and imbibe the teaching in the proper spirit. And you mentioned that in the first question too, during our mutual respect and trust, like all whoever is listening or speaking, or the person who's the recipient should definitely have humility and respect the other person. So here the student definitely has to have that humility, right? So How and why should a student adopt a similar learning style such as Arjuna from the Bhagavad Gita?
Okay, let me try to answer this. Arjuna, from the Bhagavad Gita, there are two aspects that a student can emulate. One aspect is when he learned archery from Dronacharya. There were so many others who learned archery from Dronacharya. And then there was a day when Dronacharya gave them a competition to see who was really good at archery. So he perched a wooden parrot on a treetop, and he said, you have to now aim at the eye of the parrot. And his cousins and brothers, they all went one after the other, and on either side there were relatives and friends who came to watch this competition. And then Dronacharya was beside. They would took the bow and the arrow and try and aim, and Dronacharya would ask them, so who do you see? They would say, Guruji, I see you. Or they would say, I see my friends and family on either side. I see the tree. That's it. If such an answer came, Dronacharya would say, now leave that bow and arrow, you can go sit. You failed. So all of them failed like this. It was finally Arjuna's turn to come. And now Dronacharya asks them, Arjuna, can you see me? He says, no. Can you see your friends and relatives on either side? No. Can you see the tree? No. You can't see the tree? At least can you see the parrot? He says, no. Then now Dronacharya is very curious. What can you see? And he said, I see only the eye of the parrot. That was his focus. And that's how he became the greatest archer. Likewise, students, when they go to school or when they are learning, one pointed attention on what they are learning. I'm not saying they should have extracurricular activities. No. While you're playing, one pointed attention on the game. While you're in class listening to your teacher, one pointed attention on that. While you're eating with your parents, one pointed attention to what your parents have to say. So such focus is what will make you a good student and a mediocre student. One. The other thing that a student can learn from the Gita, like from Arjun, is on the battlefield. Now the Kauravas actually had money power, they had manpower, they had weapon power, they had all the powers in the world. The Pandavas did not have anything. They didn't even have an army, it's just the 5 Pandavas with the Lord on their side. But they did not lose their confidence. They said, we just need God on our side. Both Kauravas and Pandavas go to the Lord to take their help. And the Lord asks Arjuna first, what do you want? And then Duryodhana just comes in and says, no Krishna, I'm standing for longer. You have to ask me what I want from you. So then he says, okay, what do you want? And then he has his list ready. I want your money power, I want your manpower, I want all your weapons, I want all your armies. And then Krishna said, okay, take. Then he looks at Arjuna. What is there for him to give? Nothing, no? Arjuna, what can I give you? Arjuna says, you be by our side. That's enough. That's enough. Who won the battle? The one on whose side God is will win the battle. But one thing that the students need to know is God never really took a weapon and aimed the arrow at anyone. He helped them, He guided them, He told them what has to be done. But doing it was entirely the Pandavas. Likewise, the teachers can teach you, they can guide you, they can give you disciplines, schools can give you the right atmosphere, but doing has to be from the students. So these two things I feel they can learn from Arjuna in the Mahabharata, and the kind of respect Arjuna gave the Lord. Whatever he said, he never said, no, I can't do it. He was even willing to give his own son for the battle. Abhimanyu went as a little child to go and fight. So if the Lord said something, he would immediately obey. So such obedience, such one-pointed focus, and such perseverance to do whatever it took to do to win the battle, that will really help the students today.
Wow, that's great. I think that was very inspiring, sister, and you definitely know so much from the ancient times, and you're very well read from all these stories that you shared as well. So it's just such an honor for us to listen to it from you, and I think definitely our children today will be, taking lessons from the thoughts you shared as well. So thank you for sharing them so beautifully, sister.
My pleasure.
And so I think moving on to our final leg of the session, I wanted to ask you a question. So mindfulness or meditation are increasingly picking up pace in school curriculums and communities in the Western Hemisphere. So when such practices have originated from India, and how can children, teachers, and parents here practice Raja Yoga meditation every day to experience a more blissful lifestyle?
Thank you for this beautiful question, Srisha. Most important one. What we are taught is don't do Raj Yoga meditation. Live a Raj Yogi life. See, everybody enjoys that session of meditation, that calmness, and that inner joy and peace and serenity. So, why should we confine it to just 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day? Why can't we live our lives in a meditative way? Raj Yoga teaches us precisely that. So, what is Raj Yoga? Yoga means union. The individual Atma uniting with Paramatma is yoga. Union, you could unite with friends, colleagues, relatives, but uniting with God is the highest union, and that's why it's called Raj Yoga. And so it is nothing but an introduction of God, introduction of the self, and lessons of life. Once we are aware of these three aspects and we are able to put it into our practice, it's like having a personal God guiding you at every step. Like they say, the Lord was with Arjuna at every step of the battle and helped him win. Now, when you take up Raj Yoga meditation, you have a working relationship with God who is with you, helping you, guiding you on the right path, and then makes your life meditative. So it's time you do it. Your mom has been telling me that in your schools we should come and give this meditation. And I'm so sure once everything opens up, we are here to serve. Anytime you want our services, we are here to serve all of you.
Such a blessing, sister, especially because I've also experienced them personally, and it's been so blissful after every session, and that has given me an inspiration to follow it every day. And so we have to live Raja Yoga rather than having to just practice for 5 to 10 minutes every day, right? So it's great that you share that as well. And it'd be great if we could actually, today being a special day, and we have Guru of Raja Yoga meditation, or so it would be awesome if you could guide us through a short meditation if possible.
Sure, we'll do that. So, meditation is nothing but thinking the right thoughts and through our thoughts connecting with God. So, what sort of thoughts to think? Today is being the first day, we will guide you. I will speak those thoughts. You don't need to verbally repeat them, but in your mind, just think of those thoughts. That's all there is to it. 3 steps. First step is thinking. And the second step is whatever you think you should visualize. Suppose I say a red hibiscus flower, you will think a hibiscus flower. But just thinking of it is 30% power. But if you can visualize a hibiscus flower, you get 60% power for that thought. The baki 40%, can you guess what it could be? For your every thought to be 100% powerful. If your thought is 100% powerful, it will fructify. So this is the trick. To make your thoughts fructify, think the thought, visualize it. You have to see it on your mental screen. Can you see a red hibiscus internally? Okay. And then while you're seeing that red hibiscus, what sort of feelings came in you? It's red, but then it's so gentle. The flower is so soft and gentle. And it's fully bloomed. Isn't it? So that feeling should also come. You shouldn't just think, you should visualize. You shouldn't just visualize, you should feel that thought. When all three are in sync, then your thoughts become powerful. That's meditation, that's all. So we will share a few thoughts. Whatever thoughts I'm sharing, we haven't done the basic course of Raj Yoga, so let me request you. Sister has nothing to gain by misleading you. So for the next 5 minutes, assume what Sister is saying is the truth. Why would I lie to you? That faith is essential for you to really experience this meditation. Okay? So I will speak a few thoughts. So in your heart, accept that this is the truth. You don't have to question or doubt. Just give it a try. See how beautiful you feel during the meditation. And then come back. We will begin with Om Shanti and we will conclude with Om Shanti. Please tell me if the music volume is enough. Can you hear the music? And also my voice is audible? Om Shanti. I am a subtle point of light, a soul sparkling in the center of my forehead. I can feel the warmth of the Atmic sparkle. In the center of my forehead. It's a gentle white light, and I can feel this light spread into my brain and flow out from there throughout my body. As the white light fills my body, covers it inch by inch, my whole body has loosened up and relaxed. For a few minutes, I choose to step out of my body and I leave it through my upper portion of the head, and I'm floating in air 6 inches above my head. It feels so light, a bodiless point of sparkling light. I am Atma, Jyoti Bindu Swarup. I enjoy this flotation. I am lighter than even air, so light that even the earth's gravity cannot pull me down. And now I embark on my upward journey. Just as air passes through cloth, I, the soul, pass through the rooftop. I find myself above this building, sparkling, shining like a star. And I start flying higher and higher and higher across trees and mountain tops. I fly like a free bird. I can feel the cottony clouds. I fly past them, across the sun, the moon, and the stars, and at a distance above me, I can see a golden red world of light. I enter this world, and at once I feel I have come over an ocean of peace, floating on waves of peace. And in the middle is my Father, the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, the Father of all the souls of the world. God, my Father. I go close to Baba. His peaceful light fills me. His sparkling form captivates me. I feel I'm being drenched in peace. My racing mind has calmed down. And I can connect to my own inner silence. Being deeply relaxed. Thank you, Baba, for the experience of this divine peace. I descend from this world of souls and come back towards the physical world like a star that descends from the sky. As I come closer to the world, I shower the rain of peaceful light on the whole world. May all the souls of the world experience peace. I enter my body and seat myself in the center of my forehead. I understand that I'm a peaceful soul, a chosen child of God. I bless the founders and the family of SSVM institutions with long and healthy lives, happy relationships, successful ventures. I bless the institutions with the magical touch of creating righteous human beings, successful individuals. I bless all the staff and teachers to be God's instruments in creating the future generation, in nurturing God's children, in giving their best. I bless all parents and the children of these institutions with healthy lives, peaceful lives, one-pointed concentration, and academic excellence, life excellence. Om Shanti.
I think it was beautiful, sister. It was just so enriching and enlightening. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. I'm still not able to get out of it. So I think, yeah, I've had such a blissful experience, and practicing this every day is just gonna, have a beautiful start to our day, or even make our minds calmer. I believe so. This is ultimate bliss, I should say. So
So I'm
thank you
ready
so much.
to have even online sessions for your children with mom and dad, and you can talk it over, and I want you to know that I'm at your service. Okay?
Definitely. Thank you, sister.
Thank you
And
so much.
thank you very much for an incredible ending to this episode. And it has been such an honor, an absolute pleasure to actually have you with us today in our SSVM EduTalk. And I'm sure all of our teachers, the parents, and the students would have enjoyed listening to you. And we're all enlightened and hearing your insightful thoughts and stories. So thank you so very much for being with us here.
My pleasure. Okay? Om Shanti. My regards to everyone, especially mom and dad and your husband.
Definitely.